is a sensitive spot though, no? There's like...
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh shit! Should I be scared for my life? Hey guys! I just burned this lip on my wall. If you guys want to hear about the first time I got high in Thailand, not promoting drugs, nor do I recommend. It is a funny, crazy story. If you are new here, hey guys, I'm Chelseavbrady. I post videos on travel, lifestyle, used to talk about life in Korea as I was teaching for 1 year in South Korea. If you want to hear more crazy travel story times, see travel vlogs, hear about my experiences, then definitely subscribe. I upload videos twice, sometimes 3 times a week, so lots of content for you during quarantine. And roll up with me. Today we're smoking some Gucci Pink, and I'm going to tell you the story time of getting high in Thailand. Where do I even start? Okay, so long story short, I lived in Korea for 1 year teaching English. I have been smoking cannabis as an adult probably like since I was 21, and my very first time not smoking weed was being in Korea. I didn't know the drug laws really in Asia. I didn't look them up, but I didn't know that I'd have to give up smoking weed in order to teach in Korea. But after finding out that you need to pass a drug test to get your E2 visa, I do videos about that. You can find them on my channel. To get a teaching visa in Korea, you need to pass a drug test. They test for marijuana and other things. So obviously I had to stop smoking weed. I went to Korea, passed a drug test, stopped smoking. A year passes, I finished my teaching contract, and I'm like, dope, I want to go travel, specifically Southeast Asia. Little adventurous Chelseology, or Chelsea, goes to Thailand with her Tinder date. We flew from Busan to Bangkok, stayed a night in Bangkok, and then went straight to Krabi. We caught a flight to Krabi, took a couple boats. That's Southern Thailand. Absolutely breathtaking. If anyone here is thinking about going to Thailand, I will say skip Bangkok, skip the city. I mean, if you have the time and the money, it's definitely worth seeing, but Thailand's true beauty is in Southern Thailand, and there's so many other islands that are beautiful, but definitely like hit up the islands. Bangkok is just a place for you to get yourself in trouble. That's literally what it is. Now, my friend, my Tinder date, let's call him Bob. Bob is not much of a smoker, and I had already known that. But he was really, really excited for me to be able to smoke this magical plant that I've been talking to him about. You know, he just knew that I wanted to do it so bad because I'd tell him stories about how this was such a big move and a big change for me coming from Canada, where, I mean, weed is now legalized, but it's super liberal, it's super relaxed. He's American, so it's a little different, but it just wasn't a big deal. So to go live in Korea, a country where they do not tolerate drugs at all, was kind of it was a culture shock. Different from the actual culture I was experiencing, the Korean culture. Did that make any sense? I don't know. Smoke break. What are you guys smoking? Comment below if you are smoking with me. Is it indica? Is it sativa? Like I said, I'm smoking Gucci Pink, and yeah. Back to the story. So excited. Thailand was a dream. I get to Krabi. We take a boat to Krabi. And mind you, I just moved out of South Korea, so I have like a big Roots luggage, another mini luggage, a big duffel bag. Like, I moved out of my bachelor apartment in Busan. I did get rid of like all my furniture and stuff, but I still had a lot of stuff that I accumulated throughout the whole year. So we take this boat with all my luggage. So bad because I'm like, here are all these backpackers with like 8-liter backpacks, and then here I am. So I'm on this boat, have all my luggage. We get to the island of Krabi. We took 2 boats actually. There's 2 boats now that I think about it. And here I am, I'm so excited. I'm like, yes, we're almost there. It's now been a year and 3 months. No THC has gone in this body, like, but I'm ready to have these enlightening moments on the Thai beach. I'm ready. I'm so ready. We got like a super, super cute villa slash bungalow. And it was super cheap, super cute. I kind of had a rough start because I locked 2 of my luggages just by habit, and I lost the keys. So imagine me traveling almost for 2 days, traveling from Korea to Thailand, finally get to my destination 2 days later from when I left Korea. And I can't open up my luggage. Thank God on the walk to the villa, I saw a random Thai people like in this field working, had a saw, cutting wood, like doing random ass shit. So I was like, A, is this a movie? Like, am I in a dream? But B, like, let me get street smart, and I have a problem, let me find a solution. I can't speak Thai, but I can play charades. At this point, I'm a master of charades. Living in Korea for a year. Master of none, but master of charades. You learn charades and you learn how to use Google Translator. That's what happens. You need to cut the bag. And he had a little like saw or a saw type device. He cut my lock. I was able to open up my luggage. Everything was amazing. Get to the room, check out the bungalow, open up my bags, take a shower, I change, and I'm like, yo, I'm ready for this. We getting high tonight, okay? But at this point, it's probably like 2, 3 o'clock because like I said, that morning we had caught a flight from Bangkok to Krabi, and then we took 2 boats from Krabi to a random ass like island dock. So we've been traveling all morning, all day. And it's probably like 2 o'clock at this point. Although that's like prime daytime, it's still, we know we have a couple more hours before nighttime. Like it's gonna get dark eventually. So I have obviously done research on where to go in Thailand, etc. And the blogs, sorry guys, I'm like ashing in my sink while I keep going. And the blogs say if you're like a hippie and you want a little fun, if you know what I mean. In Thailand, there are 2 places you can go to. One is Tonsai Beach and 2 is Railay Beach. So Tonsai is where all the blogs and travel bloggers said you can find weed, marijuana, you can find these mushroom shakes, which are milkshakes of like shrooms in it, so psychedelics, and I'm sure you could probably find other stuff, but that is the place you can find it. This little village is so remote that you have to hike through a jungle to get to it. You can't drive to it. There's no, like, you can't take an Uber and be like, hey, take me to Tonsai Beach. Like, you have to travel to Railay, which is such a long travel, like I said. So we're in the middle of fucking nowhere in Southern Thailand, but it's beautiful, beautiful middle of nowhere. And we have this mission. Okay, we're gonna get to Tonsai Beach. That's where you can find the good stuff. And I know that we had to do this little mini hike, but I was down. I was super excited. So we set off. It's probably around 2:33. We make it to the end of Railay Beach. This is the very end of Railay. So we know, okay, this is probably where you have to go through like the jungle or climb. There's just like terrain and rock everywhere. So we're like, we either have to like climb around these rocks and there's a path somewhere around it, or like keep walking a little further and find the opening for the jungle. But the rock just went into the water. We're at a dead end and there was a little opening in bush. So I'm like, oh yeah, that way. So we went that way. And then I get to an open field and I look to my left and I look up and there's like 20 monkeys. There's fucking monkeys. There were monkeys in the trees. Like, guys. You guys, I was like, yo, is this real life? I was in shock. Like, I just couldn't believe I was in the middle of nowhere, like in solitude with wild monkeys. And then a part of me was like, fuck, this is scary. Aren't monkeys like vicious? Can they attack us if they feel threatened? Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. No one's gonna hear us if something happens. And then we finally get to a path, like a paved path. And on the side of the paved path was graffiti that said, "Welcome to Tonsai." And that's when we're like, wow, like we made it. And I want to say it was no more than like a half an hour hike through that jungle. And about 20 minutes in is when we saw the monkeys. But it's one way in, one way out to get to Tonsai Beach. Little pro tip if you're trying to travel there. One way in, one way out. So we get there, keep walking, maybe like 200 meters, and then I hear reggae music. And if you guys don't know, I'm Jamaican, and if there's reggae music, there's probably ganja. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I got so excited, I'm like, yeah, that way. So we follow the music, and like 200 meters in, there's this little shack full of these like dark skin, I don't know what they were. They weren't native Thai people. They came from somewhere, and I forget where they came from. I'm so mad, but they followed a Rastafarian culture, and they were dark-skinned. They almost looked like Cambodian or like West Indian. I know those are two completely different looks, but like on that spectrum. They spoke Thai, they lived in Thai, but they followed a Rastafarian like religion and culture. And they had this little bar set up. You can buy like alcoholic drinks, get like finger food and stuff, but they also sold marijuana, and they had the mushroom shakes that I mentioned earlier. So I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I came for. And in the front they had a hammock that you can just lie out on, and it was just like such a good vibe. And I couldn't believe it, because like, mind you, I am so far from home, and I just couldn't believe that I literally just read a blog on how to get to this like remote place, and I ended up there. Me and Bob were probably 2 of 4 foreigners on that whole beach. It was that shack and like a couple other like Thai people. So in retrospect, it was a very sketchy situation. If we were to get robbed, if someone was to like want to hurt us as foreigners, Bob was a white American, it was very easy because the place was completely isolated. We're the only foreigners on that island, on that beach. But we were treated with such respect, with such positivity. It was such a good time. Too much of a good time that I'm there smoking J's back to back, fucking loving my life. I'm there thinking about my year in Korea, thinking about my travel to Japan, thinking about Taiwan, thinking about after Thailand, I was going to Denmark, Copenhagen, and I'm actually gonna do a story time on 24 hours in Copenhagen. That's another high story time that I will film after this. So if you want to hear about that, make sure you subscribe. Guys, this is a roach and I'm still talking. Hopefully, this is gonna be a bitch to edit. And I'm high as fuck, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I had too much of a good time where smoking some J's back to back, talking to the guys. So it turns out that they were all cousins. Like, I don't know if they're actual like blood cousins, who knows, but they all worked and owned this bar. And it was like a makeshift bar shack. Like, it was made out of bamboo sticks. They had like treetops and like leaves for the shelter, but it was done very, very well. So if you look up those remote living vlogs on YouTube and channels on YouTube, you can actually make a kind of modern space with natural resources around you. Like, people are so skilled and so innovative. So yeah, don't think of like a little hut. Like, it was made out of things that they found on the beach and things that they found on the island, but it was big and it was nice. So nice that we were there for hours, and I had such a good time talking to them. Bob ordered a mushroom shake, And the mushroom shake is just like shrooms in a shake. I hate milkshakes, eh? And I've never done shrooms before at that point. So I just took a sip of it. Next thing you know, it's like 9 p.m., okay? It's 9 o'clock and there's no more daylight. And I'm like, bruh. Remember at the beginning of the story when I told you that there's no accommodation on Tonsai Beach? Well, I'm not lying when I say that there's no accommodation on Tonsai Beach. There's no hotel, there's no hostel, there's no campground. It's literally this remote beach in the middle of a jungle. And those Thai people probably lived at that bar. Like, I'm pretty sure that's where they slept and stuff. So it wasn't safe for us to stay the night. There's nowhere for us to stay, nowhere to keep our stuff safe, nowhere to keep us safe. So I'm like, you know what? Like, Bob, let's go. And it wasn't even like we were just having such a good time that we didn't even think about leaving. We didn't think about our hike back. We didn't think about the sunlight. We didn't think about it getting dark. Like, I was so stupid. It's 9 o'clock at this point. We have no phones. We basically don't really know how to get back. We're just getting back based off of memory because we had gone to Tonsai, however, in the daylight. Now it's fucking pitch black. So I'm like, okay, Bob is smart. He packed a flashlight before we left. I remember that. So thank God we had that flashlight. I'm like, thank the Lord. I had my phone and the phone flashlight plus his flashlight was okay. So the first step was going through that walkway where I told you about the graffiti that says welcome to Tonsai. So we go through there. It's a little bit lit, but not really. So that was scary and that was sketchy. I'm high as fuck. If you smoke, you know that when you take a tolerance break, at this point my break had been for 15 months. So that's a long ass break. I'm high as fuck after not smoking weed for that long. So I'm elevated. I had taken a couple sips of this mushroom shake, so I'm just not sober is my point. I wasn't on my A game is what I'm trying to say. So we get through there, I'm a little shook. It's probably like 9:20 at this point. I'm like, okay, step 1's complete. Step 2, getting through that forest. So that forest that I loved on the walk there was now the part I was like pretty much scared of because those monkeys are wild. I had no idea what they're gonna do during the day and I have no idea where they are at night. So I was freaking out. I'm like, are there monkeys swinging above me? Like, are there monkeys beside me? Are they gonna bite me? Are they gonna attack us? Like, I was tripping the fuck out. I remember that. So we get through step 2 like a warrior. I was like, ha, your orders be taking my swag. I wonder if I can come take some of yours. When I go get a new Bentley, I just wanna double park it on the curb. Ha! You know, all of that. And we got through that. Now, step 3 is going through that forested area through the jungle, like, but that was different because it was like a little narrow path in the jungle. So you're going through trees, you're jumping over like rocks, you're going down little mini hills. When we got to the walkway part, I realized that a guy was leaving Tonsai Beach. I got shook because I'm like, once you go onto the path back to Tonsai or back to Railay, it's even more isolated than being on Tonsai. So here's Railay, here's Tonsai, and we are leaving Tonsai, going through a jungle. So once you start going on that path through the jungle, you're the most isolated at that point. But once we're leaving Tonsai, I saw a man also leave as well, probably about maybe like 200 meters behind us, not more than that. So once we got to the monkey part, I knew he wasn't far behind. I got fucking shook. I'm like, yo, Bob, we need to like get a move on. We need to make this go faster. It starts raining, okay? It starts raining. The trail is getting muddy. I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh, this Thai person is like gonna rob us, think that we're a foreigner. Why are we in the middle of fucking nowhere? It's like us going in the Amazon. We're gonna be sacrificed, or I'm thinking all these random ass things. I'm just like one foot in front of the other. And Bob has a flashlight. I have my phone. I'm like, let me not drop this. Let's just keep going. And we finally get out of the bush and I see a boat, and I remember seeing it on the way there from Railay beach, and I was like, we made it. And I probably had like a half quarter of kush on me because I was like, obviously I'm gonna get some kush for the rest of the time here. I was in Thailand for 2 weeks. I also managed to find some cannabis in Bangkok. That was sketch as fuck. I would not recommend. I honestly wouldn't recommend. Like, getting it in Tonsai was not sketch. It was sketch getting there. Like, the hike to Tonsai, sketch as fuck. But actually interacting with the people and getting it, that wasn't sketch. Whereas in Bangkok, it was super sketch. But yeah, so that's the end of this video. Hopefully you guys made it to the end, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe for more travel story times and more travel related info. I post about 2 or 3 times a week, so definitely turn on those post notifications so that you always are notified. And let me know in the comment section, have you been to Thailand? If so, have you smoked cannabis in Thailand? If not, where is the craziest place that you've smoked cannabis? I'm in Vancouver right now. Cannabis is completely legal. Cannabis is not legal in Thailand, and cannabis is not legal in Korea. So a little FYI. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and liked the story time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.